El has done his time on Killer Bass and he did really well. Who would have thought with such a weird group he would fit in quite well? Now it's time for El to have to lock in on the Gophers. If you haven't seen part 1, it'll be in the description. First things first, El will take Noah's place since he was the first boot on Gophers. Things will go fast, so if you haven't seen Total Drama or Death Note, I recommend you check both of them out. El gets onto the island and takes a similar approach to Ezekiel and how he conducts himself. Everyone would probably think Ezekiel is like a weird older brother or something. Unlike in the Killer Bass scenario, there really isn't anyone who would like to be around El on the Gophers until Izzy joins, and she'd be incredibly interested in El, knowing there's more to him than he's letting on. The Gophers do great in the challenge, but I do see El trying to back out of jumping only for Izzy to grab his hand and force him off the cliff. In the end though, this is a small thing and Gophers still win with 0 difficulty. Episode 3 is the big sleep and El and Izzy get to talk more as El realizes there may be someone actually intelligent under all the crazy babble. El would notice Heather take the MP3 and El would tell her that stealing is wrong. Heather would tell the weirdo not to say anything, but El would suddenly yell, getting everyone's attention as he tells everyone that Heather stole Eva's MP3. The Bass would get on Heather for stealing it and Eva would get it back. Most of the Gophers would be okay with El snitching on Heather, but a few, Heather, Justin, Lindsay, and Beth, would think he should have stayed quiet. When Justin is exposed for his eye trick, El would tell him that was a really clever plan from a model. Izzy would actually find the situation between El and Heather humorous and think that losing Heather wouldn't be a huge loss with El here. Screaming Gophers would win once again as I could see El winning it with very little difficulty. Without Eva having a meltdown, I think Harold goes. This decision will be catastrophic in the future. However, it is not now, as Dodgeball will go even better for the Bass than in canon. With everyone on Bass being rested due to Harold not snoring, the Gophers are gonna get destroyed. Duncan would be rested and helping the team with Eva from the start. Heather would be able to get 5 votes onto El, with the other 2 being Justin and Owen, while the other 6 would vote Heather, getting rid of the biggest threat early. Episode 5 would go terrible for Killer Bass now that Harold is gone. Without Harold, they just don't have the talent to succeed in this challenge. As a result, Killer Bass would have to go to elimination. El would tell Trent that his music sounded nice and Trent would actually start to warm up to the weird dude, realizing he's not creepy, just socially awkward. Killer Bass would vote off Bridget since Bridget destroyed Courtney's violin. Episode 6 would be a great bonding episode for El as he sits by the campfire and tells stories of his upbringing to people. People think he was weird, but some people, mainly Izzy, Trent, and Beth, would think he was interesting, and so he wouldn't be nearly as much of a target as he once was. Since Justin is here, he could actually stop the bear from trying to kill them, so they could all sleep in the tent tonight. Killer Bass still leave Katie and Sadie out in the woods, and so Screaming Gophers win, and Katie leaves. Episode 7 would have El tell everyone his fear is the Grim Reaper like before, and he would purposefully fail his challenge for fun. This doesn't matter much, as Killer Bass get washed in this challenge, and so Tyler would leave. Episode 8 would have Beth trying to take the Boney Island totem, but El would warn her not to. Unlike Light, El would not want anything to do with curses, and so Screaming Gophers would not pick up any totems, and in a weird twist of fate, Screaming Gophers would win as a result. It would be between Jeff and Eva, and I think Eva would get voted off, who would be justifiably pissed about the whole situation. Episode 9 is Paintball Deer Hunt, and unlike in the last timeline, the Gophers are just dominating this challenge. Honestly, I kinda feel bad for the Bass, but I can't help them from being trash. Sadie is eliminated since she just isn't in the major alliance. Episode 10 is the cooking challenge, and to give the Bass some credit, they would cook better than the Gophers. So good for them. It would be between Izzy and Owen, and this would be the point where Izzy gets chased off by the RCMP, despite the fact Owen would and should have left. El is relieved as Izzy was the only one who could have exposed him for being way smarter than the Gophers realized. Episode 11 is the trust building challenge, and it'll be a bit boring for Bass, but it would come down to the tiebreaker, and since Jeff has no Bridget here, he won't go anywhere, and as such Bunny won't die, and so Bass will win. For events that have occurred, Trent would have bonded a lot with El, so vicariously he would be a friend to Gwen and Cody as well. Justin has started his Total Drama action arc and has Lindsay and Beth under his thumb, as well as LaShawna and Owen. As a result, Justin could actually pick who to get rid of here. He wouldn't want El gone since El said he was clever back in episode 3, so the only one he'd be willing to get rid of 100% is either Cody and Trent, and so Cody is his first victim. Episode 12 is Chef's Boot Camp, and since Gwen exists on Screaming Gophers, Gophers win. El would probably make it it to the final round and win it, or would give up really quickly. No real in-between with Elle. Either way, Gophers win and DJ would get booted since they don't like him as much as Jeff, especially since Jeff is down for anything. Episode 13 would have Trent jumping out of the plane as well as Duncan, Jeff riding the bull along with Lashana, and finally Courtney skiing for Bass while Duncan drives, and Lindsay skiing for Gophers with Gwen driving. I could easily see both of these teams winning the final round, and so a tiebreaker would need to be done. It would be Jeff skiing and Courtney driving while Justin skis and Beth drives. This time Beth would be able to cause Jeff to wipe out, and while Justin skis, his shirt would be ripped off, distracting Courtney, who crashes the Sea-Doo. It would be between Courtney and Jeff, and Duncan is in love, so he gets rid of Jeff. Jeff would be seriously bummed, but would know he stood no chance against Courtney. Episode 14 is the brunch of disgustingness, and Owen is here, so guys win. It's that simple. Episode 15 is the start of Merge. Eva and Izzy come back, and Eva would not be nearly as mean to her team who voted her off since they got what was coming to them. Only Duncan and Courtney made it to Merge after all. Lashana wins the challenge, and due to her competitive nature as well as being the biggest threat, Eva is still voted out. Elle would discuss a secret alliance with Izzy, and Izzy would agree. Episode 16, and Elle would realize just how much pull Courtney has over Duncan, so he would want her gone. Justin gets the Heather key and uses his pull to get immunity. If Justin hadn't gotten immunity, Elle would have wanted him gone due to his sway over the ladies. Elle proposes the idea to Justin, who agrees with it since he wants Duncan on his side. Episode 17, and Duncan would propose the idea of a guy's alliance, and they all would agree to it. Elle would know that they need to get rid of Trent because Trent will eventually abandon them for Gwen. Trent would spill the beans to Gwen, and Lashana would win immunity. The girls wouldn't know who to vote for since everyone would have different ideas, and so the guys would vote for Gwen, and Trent would agree, but just like Jeff, he wouldn't do it, straining his relationship with the other guys. The last vote would be from Izzy, if you were wondering. Episode 18 is the bike challenge. Izzy takes Lashana away, Elle throws the challenge, and Justin will use Lindsay almost exactly like Heather to get immunity, and then abandon Lindsay once she's eliminated. So she gets to tell Justin off, and Beth would also start to falter in her love for Justin. Episode 19 is the horror movie challenge, and Elle would be the last remaining survivor, and when the real killer emerges, Justin would use his looks to stun the killer before Elle kicks him in the jaw and he knocks the killer out, winning immunity, and even Izzy is shocked by his power. The guys' alliance would be able to get out Lashana since she's the only one who was good at the challenges, and also Duncan doesn't like her. Episode 20 is a reward challenge, so pick your favorite. My money is on Justin. Justin would decide to abandon Duncan. He'd get the group to vote him out, and Duncan would be completely shocked since he thought the plan was always Beth or Izzy. Episode 21 is the Try-On Triathlon. Justin would be with Izzy, Beth would be with Owen, and Trent would be with Elle. Beth and Owen would win the first part, Justin and Izzy win part 2 since Justin can charm any monsters on Boney Island, and Elle and Trent win part 3, meaning anyone can be voted off tonight. Trent and Elle would actually discuss a lot of strategy in the game, and they'd come to the conclusion that they need to blindside Izzy. Justin would be down with the idea since he didn't even like Izzy anyway, and he holds a majority. Plus, Izzy is the only threat besides himself in his eyes, so he does this gladly. Episode 22 is the episode where Katie and Sadie get to choose who dies, and they're 1000% picking Justin. You want to talk about robbed, this is it. This is the most rigged elimination ever. Or Justin, he actually had a good thing going for him this time. Episode 24 would be Elle and Owen versus Trent and Beth, and Elle would need to do everything in his power to keep Owen on his A-game to avoid losing. In the end, Elle and Owen would bond a whole lot, but Owen wouldn't go to the finish line, meaning he'd lose. Whether Chef gets a choose or it's a vote, doesn't matter. Owen would be eliminated. Chef wouldn't like Owen all that much since he just ate his sticky buns and also has been a nuisance for a while. On the other hand, he'd like Elle because he listened to Chef's war stories and he delivered a nasty kick to that real killer back in episode 19. Episode 25, in between Beth, Elle, and Trent is definitely quitting first. Dude went psycho over a slice of pizza. He is not surviving these challenges. Elle would tell Trent to have a good time with Gwen, and Trent would tell Elle to beat Beth for him. The finale is here. Elle's supporters would be Trent, Owen, Courtney, Duncan, Ezekiel, Jeff, Cody, Gwen, Izzy, and Justin. The others would be Beth's supporters, so weirdly it's a 50-50 split. Heather wouldn't like either of these options, but she went with the one who didn't actively sell her out. Some of you guys in the comments are amazing writers, so I'd like to hear what you think would be the deciding factors for who will win and why the canon one will be Elle. Whether or not Elle wins, Elle would thank everyone for such a fun game, and a chopper comes down to pick Elle up. Watri, Elle's assistant/mentor, asks if he got enough proof to convict Chris McClane, and Elle says he has, but let's wait another season. He's sure they could put him away for life if they do another one. Let me know which scenario you preferred between the Killer Bass and Screaming Gophers. Next video's the long-awaited Elle vs. Light in Total Drama Island video, and the scenario you prefer will determine whether Elle starts on Screaming Gophers or Killer Bass, Light being on the opposite team. Leave your thoughts in the comments below and have the day you deserve.